Hello everyone, it's your girl Lala and I'm back with another video. So today's video is going to be a review slash recap on Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 4, episode 2. Now let's get into the video. So this video starts off with Martell doing a photo shoot. So it's Martell, his manager, and the photographer in this scene where it starts off. They're showing just Martell, and he's doing the shoot, and in this scene, he needs some baby oil, so he makes a call to Destiny because Destiny's like right up the street or whatever. She's pretty close. So he makes the call for Destiny to bring him some baby oil. So Destiny does end up coming by, and she brings him the baby oil. And then they actually ask Destiny to put the baby oil on Martell. And I was like, what, for a second? But of course she did not do that, which I am very glad. But she did not do that. But anyway, as this episode was going on, Martell and Destiny gets into a conversation in which they start talking about Melody. So now what was interesting in this conversation was that Destiny brings up the incident where, Melody overheard Tisha and Destiny talking about her. Now, if you guys remember last week on the episode, Melody said that her room was down the hall and she heard them talking about her, which in my video last week for the first episode, I was kind of like, that's a little strange for you to be all the way down the hall in the hotel room and you're able to hear someone hear a whole conversation. That just seemed a little strange to me. I just kind of was like, I don't know. I was a little side-eyeing Mel on that one. Now, Destiny says on the episode, this past episode, Destiny says that Mel was outside of the hotel room, that she was listening outside of the hotel room, and that's how she heard the conversation. I am more likely inclined to believe that that's how that happened, because I just can't see how all the way down the hall in a hotel you would hear a conversation clear enough to actually know what someone's saying and to hear the whole conversation, all of that. So I am more inclined to believe that what Destiny is saying is in fact more truthful than what Mel is saying. Sorry, Mel. But anyway, so in this conversation, Destiny brings that up. And so Martell makes the comment about how, basically, kind of telling Destiny, I guess he's not surprised, and kind of saying oh yeah, Mel's going to be through with you now because, Destiny and Tisha are forming some type of relationship, or, they're, social with each other, whatever. And so Martell kind of puts it out there okay, Destiny's done, kind of, which is pretty, I don't know. It's pretty unfortunate, but because of prior scenes where Melanie had seemed to be very annoyed with Destiny in regards to, I don't know if you guys remember, but when Melanie did her video, her music video, and Destiny was approaching her about something or whatever, I think in that point, that really changed the dynamic between Mel and Destiny. And I think the other stuff was just the straw that broke the camel's back. But I think that Melanie already was kind of over maybe the friendship with Destiny. I don't know. We'll see where they go. I don't know. Hopefully they can repair things. And I would hope that Melody is not being petty enough that this is all stemming from the fact that Destiny and Tisha are, in communication and forging a friendship or whatever it is. So I really hope that that's not the underlying, reasoning. But I don't know. I kind of lean towards not thinking so, just because it wasn't like her and it wasn't like Melody and Destiny's friendship was on a great path, and then all of a sudden this. They seem to have already had some things going on in their friendship already. So we'll see. But I will tell you this. As annoyed and as mad as Martell has made me with all of his buffoonery, he is quite a handsome man. And that little February shoot, the February month that they gave us that clip of, all right, Mr. Holt was looking quite quite fine in that tub, I must say. But still, it's still a no for me, because, his actions are just too out of line. But, he is a fine man. We got to give him that. He is. So now we are at the scene where Stormy and Melody meet up. Well, Melody goes to, I guess, Stormy's warehouse, it looks like it was. And so they're talking some business because Stormy has I believe like a hair care business or something like that. So Melody it seems that she's been getting like tips and things like that from Stormy in regards to just, I guess, navigating her skincare line. So, they talk that for a bit, but of course the conversation quickly moves on to other things. And so in the conversation with Stormy and Melanie, Stormy brings up the whole reunion where Melody is asked about performing fellatio on a guy or something, and Melody makes the comment or something like she doesn't remember. And so Stormy kind of calls her out in a bit because she's like, wait, about that, like how did you don't remember? She kind of like gives her like a little side eye on that, which I'm going to tell you, when that part came on in the reunion, I love me some Mel. And I was like, Mel, come on now. Could you have not come up with anything else? Like, I don't remember. I was like, oh, no, Mel, I don't remember. That was insane. But then, she tried to say on the episode, like, basically, like, listen, we're not talking about that. It's none of anybody's business or whatever. But I just kind of wish she would have answered in a way of like, we're not talking about it, or it's none nobody's business or whatever, because that whole like, I don't remember, that was just crazy. And it had me looking at Mel like, okay, now come on now. There's nothing to defend there. Like, come on, you talking about something you don't remember? Who doesn't remember if you have, done that sexual act on somebody or not? Like, that's Mel. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of my girl Mel. That's my girl. But anyway, so, they have their conversation. In this same conversation, Stormy shares with Melanie that basically she's not feeling Tiffany. I guess Tiffany just rubs her the wrong way and she's not feeling Tiffany. So, that's what she shares with Mel in this conversation that Stormy and Melanie are having in this scene. So now we move on to the next scene where they're at Marceau and Tisha's office. So Marceau and Tisha there, and then in comes Wanda shortly after in this scene. And so Tisha's mom, Wanda, so she starts talking about her food truck. And so in this conversation about her food truck, it becomes apparent that Marceau and Tisha are funding this food truck. However, Marceau is finding out for the first time that, in fact, this is the deal, that they will be funding this food truck. Obviously, Tisha and her mother, was, I don't know, I guess they had a little trick up their sleeve to get Marceau to pay for this. And, Tisha she was just kind of, trying to like backdoor him a little bit, I guess, with this whole thing. And Marceau jokingly tells Wanda, well, if you want me to think about funding this food truck, I need some coffee or whatever. Just trying to, I guess, get Miss Wanda to do something because, I guess he just wants to see her just cater to him in some way or do something. But anyway, Miss Wanda wasn't having it. She never got up and got that coffee. She never entertained it. She's like, basically like, no, I ain't Tisha. So that's not happening. And so in this conversation, as usual, Miss Wanda crosses the line like she normally does. And so she gets into questioning Marceau in regards to the picture that he posted. And then she asks Marceau about, has him and Martell ever rented or had an apartment together or whatever. And, she kind of gets very feisty in her questioning to Marceau. Now, this is my thing. It's crazy to me how Tisha constantly sits there while her mother constantly crosses the line. Now, you can't tell. But you know what? I'm thinking that, some of this with her mother crossing the line is because Tisha is, I think, too afraid to bring certain things up to Marceau and to ask him certain questions. And I think that really she allows it to go on so much is because her mother is asking the things that she wants to know that she's just too afraid to ask, or she won't push him about or something. That's what I'm starting to think. But either way, it's just crazy because Marceau at the end of the day doesn't have to answer to anyone but Tisha. Period. And, Miss Wanda is out of pocket all the time. All the time. That's not a question for you to ask him. That's the question for his wife to ask him. And if his wife isn't asking, then you need to fall back and stay out of it. It's amazing to me how much she crosses the line. And, just like I think Kimmy said in a past season, where she's like, I don't disrespect people's mothers and I don't get into people's mother. But listen, if Ms. Wanda's going to keep coming up to us like, our peers, and she's going to keep, saying things and meddling, then she's going to get treated as such. And let me tell you something. At this point, listen, Miss Wanda deserves anything that she gets. She deserves all the smoke she gets from anybody on that cast at this point, because you can't throw the mother, you can't throw the mother title around there when you're not acting like a mother and you're getting into your daughter's business with your daughter's friends. So at this point, you know what? Mother is out the door, and you know what? She should get all the smoke that anybody else gets, because it's like she constantly crossed the line. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. But anyway, so once again, Miss Wanda is kind of like drilling Marceau. And then she even gets to the point when she's like, yes or no. Like, yes or no. And I'm just like, wow. Like, actually, she's coming at Marceau the way Kimmy, came at Maurice last week. But Kimmy has every right to come at Maurice like that. That's her husband. You are his mother-in-law. Stay in your place. It's just beyond crazy to me. But once again, I think Tisha allows it because I think questions are being asked and she's afraid to. Now, Tisha can sit here all she wants with, did she cut her mother off at some point, and was kind of basically saying like, well, I believe my husband, and, people can say what they want to say and it's just talk and all of this other stuff. And I'm just like, girl, Tisha is so naive. She is so naive. And I don't know if Marceau is doing something, has done something, or anything else. But I don't know. Something just tells me that Marceau is not on the up and up, and that something has going on, and there has been some infidelity, and there has been some cheating. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. Something just tells me that. And I think that, I think that Tisha should take the advice that Melody gave her some seasons back. Keep your eyes open. And like she told her before, if he's at these bars and things, you might just want to pop up on him. And you might just want to do that because something is going on with Marceau. Like, I don't know. It's just too much smoke, constantly surrounding him for there not to be any fire. Like, just my opinion. I don't know. So, we'll see. I guess with all the accusations, I don't know. I guess it should be some evidence soon, or it should be something, right? I mean, I will say in his benefit, or his defense, I should say, there has been so many accusations, but it doesn't seem to be anything, concrete. Hey, Martell's mistress is out there, the baby's out there. So, we have seen the evidence of what he said he wasn't doing at times and things like that. So it's all out there. But hey, I mean, is it a matter of Marceau is just that good at it? Who knows? But we'll see. I mean, what's done in the dark comes to light. We will see, right? Eventually. So now we are at Kimmy and Maurice. They go to Kimmy's son house, Jalen. So they're at Jalen's house, and, they're just kind of catching up. I guess he just moved into this apartment recently on his own. So they're visiting him. And in his visit, Jalen brings up, of course, the picture, because it seems like... Now, I'm going to say this. I am really hoping that we are going to dead this picture gate soon, because I'm really hoping that we don't have like how Real Housewives of Atlanta with Bolo and a whole season about Bolo, and this whole thing about Portia and Bolo. I'm hoping that we're not going to have that here with a whole season about this picture that Marceau posted. So I'm hoping this is not what the rest of the season is going to be about, because I am going to be very annoyed and bored and over it if we have many more episodes that are surrounding this picture, because so far this is the second episode that is surrounding this picture. But anyway, so Jalen brings up the picture, and, then he eventually says that, once he starts reading the comments, he's basically starting to question things. And he's like, I'm wondering, are things going on in my household and with my family that I don't even know about, And so, he then basically comes out and says, I started wondering, like, did you cheat on my mom? Asking Maurice in a sense of like, did you cheat on my mom? So anyway, of course, Kimmy kind of, spews over it. And, she goes into this whole thing about how, cheating and infidelity just wouldn't be acceptable within their relationship. And, she smooths it over, with this whole thing of how they've built this, I guess, relationship and family on trust and all of this other stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm going to be very honest. I think that Kimmy is definitely saving face on TV in a public front. But I definitely think that she is a little more, I think she's a little more irritated, upset, and has a little more issues than she's displaying to us in regards to this picture. And it might even have caused her to have certain doubts or, certain outlooks on Maurice that she's not expressing. But I don't believe that it's like she's so, that it's like, oh, Maurice told her this, she believes it, there's no problems, like, it's done and over with. I don't believe that. I'm not buying it, because she even makes a comment later on at Mel's house where she says something about, well, if I were to find out something or whatever, I wouldn't be like, I think she said like flabbergasted or whatever, or something that she wouldn't be if she were to find out something. So my thing is that if you actually truly believe him, then you would be. You would be, right? Because if you truly believe that your husband is telling you the total truth and there's nothing else to it, then you absolutely would believe him. I would think, right? So I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, I'm accepting your answer, but I ain't no dummy. And, I got this, I got this stored away, and I think it's one of those situations with Kimmy. So next we have, the ladies arrive. Well, the next scene is at Melanie's house. So the ladies arrived to Melanie's house for a slumber party. So Melanie invites, she invites her friend, she invites Stormy, she invites Tiffany, she invites Kimmy, she invites Tisha's cousin, Kiki. And I believe that's it, because of course we had already known that Destiny and Tisha was not invited. We already know they were not invited. So, now they're at the slumber party, which I thought was a cute idea. It was around the holidays that this was supposed to have taken place. So it was a really cute idea. All the girls had on like these little black pajamas that Melanie got everybody. They had these little cute little glam tents that were set up. It was like really cute. I doubt that any of them damn grown women slept in them tents, because basically it was pillows, pillows on the living room floor. So, I'm sure that was just for filming purposes, and nobody really slept in them tents, because I'm going to be damned if I'm going to sleep my grown behind in anyone's living room floor tent of pillows. I'm not doing that. But anyway, so a couple of conversations are being had at the slumber party. One conversation that takes place is the conversation with Tiffany and Kimmy have a conversation. So Tiffany wants to address Kimmy on a comment at the reunion in regards to Tiffany being fired from the Chamber of Commerce. So they have a conversation, and one thing I really do like is that Kimmy honestly does approach a lot of these things as a grown woman, And I do feel that Kimmy is a woman of her word. And, she's pretty straightforward. And it's pretty much, if she says it's not a problem, it's not a problem. And if there is a problem, she'll let you know. And so I respect that about Kimmy. But, they seem to have left the conversation on a good note, on a good page. And once again, during that conversation, Kimmy was explaining to Tiffany, like, listen, it wasn't a matter of me trying to come for you, but when a question was asked, I answered the question. And it's like, you and your husband, y'all want to be on this transparency crusade. So, and I'm with Kimmy on that. I'm with Kimmy on that because they were the ones that threw the transparency thing around constantly. So the thing is that once you start talking about other people being transparent, then guess what? Now you are tasked with the highest degree of transparency. And, I'm with Kimmy. I felt as though her and her husband weren't transparent. I felt like they were digging into the lives of others and had a lot of things to say and had a lot of questions, but they weren't offering up things. They weren't just telling things, because that's what transparency in a sense is, right? So, I definitely felt Kimmy on her view on that and what she was saying. And, I don't know, I'm kind of with Stormy in a sense where I kind of feel like Tiffany does rub me the wrong way too. It's something about Tiffany. I still thought it was, sometimes you have people who have nervous energy sometimes with meeting a group of people for the first time. And sometimes they have a tendency to say something that is, off the cuff, or they shouldn't. So initially I was kind of wondering if maybe that was the issue with Tiffany, because if you guys remember, Destiny and Tiffany, they had a rough start because Tiffany had made the comment about, she thought she had met Destiny already or something, but Destiny's husband or whatever was with another woman, or was some other woman she met or something like that. I can't remember 100%. But anyway, it was a rough start because of that. And I'm just like, girl, like, who doesn't know that you don't say that? And then she went ahead and she made the comment about, hearing the rumor that Monster was vaping or whatever in school. And it's like, it was like 2 offenses in, a short period of time. So, I don't know. I can see people's viewpoint in regards to Tiffany rubbing them, the wrong way. So anyway, Stormy ends up coming at the end of Tiffany and Kimmy's conversation after they've kind of like hashed and smoothed things over. Here comes Stormy. And, Stormy's asking like, oh, so do you still work at the Chamber of Commerce? And it's like, they're looking like, okay, we've already done hashed all of that out. And, but anyway, Stormy comes over. And so some of her comments are comments in regards to things that were said, but Kimmy and Tiffany had already hashed it out. And so the killer is when, so Tiffany makes the comment that I haven't worked at the Chamber of Commerce for like 5 years or something or whatever. And so Stormy makes a comment. And so then Tiffany says something like, well, that's like somebody asking you about something or going back to you, you're like 12 years old. Tiffany, why you had to do that? So Tiffany is extremely, and I think this is the problem with Tiffany, and what rubs people the wrong way. So Tiffany is extremely condescending. And it's almost, and sometimes I think you're caught off guard sometimes initially, because you're trying to figure out, is she trying to be shady or isn't she? But what I've come to the conclusion is that Tiffany is just one of those people that is extremely condescending. And that's what it is. And that's what I think, it is with Tiffany. I think she's condescending, and I think she's also one of them people that has a very slick and sarcastic way about her. And I think that that's probably what rubs people the wrong way, because she does it. So this is the thing. It's one thing when you are a slick mouth, sarcastic person and you own it, and you own it, and it is what it is. That's different than you being that way and then you almost trying to make people believe like, oh no, like, what did I do? I didn't say that. Like, I didn't say that in that way. Or I just, no, I didn't mean that by it or whatever. So I think that's where people are having the dislike with Tiffany. Now, Melanie has not been on the other end of that. So, maybe that's why Mel is more, maybe that's why Mel doesn't see it that way or whatever the case might be, because it doesn't seem like her and Tiffany have had that type of interaction, So, I'm not sure. But, we'll see how, as the time goes on, how everything plays out. I have a feeling that Tiffany will be in a lot of, I will say, squirrels, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to say fights, but I have a feeling that Tiffany will be in a lot of I guess I'll say headbutting with a lot of the women in regards to comments that she's made and just a lot of different things, because it just seems like Tiffany is just, I don't know, I guess she's just that person. I don't know. So now, of course, at this slumber party, we have to have the picture. This picture has to be a topic of discussion, of course. So at the slumber party, the picture gets brought up. They start having a conversation. Stormy makes a really good point. Stormy is like, her thing is that, well, is Marcel trying to deflect? Because her thing is look, Marcel has been in a hot seat for a while with the cheating rumors. Maurice hasn't been. So is he trying to put this on Maurice to deflect, like to bring Maurice in this, to kind of get the heat off of him? Is this what he's doing to kind of deflect? And I'm kind of with Stormy in that way of thinking. I definitely do not believe that this was done in innocence, at all. I definitely don't believe that Marcel posting that was just done in just like a joking, innocent way. I do not. I believe that it was to show, that, listen, you guys keep talking about me and my cheating and, what I'm doing. And, y'all need to be looking at Maurice over here. Like, Maurice is right along with us. We're in the picture. We all admitted that we were there in this boys trip or whatever, guys trip. Maurice lied and said he wasn't, and Marcel just straight put him on blast. And you can't tell me that that wasn't done intentionally to show that, listen, Maurice, whatever you think I'm doing, Maurice is right along with me. And I just think that's kind of foul. You know what I mean? As a brother and just in general, it's kind of foul. Listen, if you go down for whatever you did, then you got to go down and you take that punishment. You don't got to drag everybody down with you. But as you see, Marcel definitely will not be going down by himself, okay? He's definitely going to drag somebody down with him, okay? If he go down, somebody else is definitely going down, because he threw his brother all the way under the bus. So anyway, and so in this conversation, that's what Stormy says. She talks about how she believes that Marcel is deflecting. So from there, the conversation gets on to Tisha and about Marcel. Basically, they're kind of asking or kind of throwing around, well, like, do anyone believe that Marcel is doing anything or has done anything? And so Mel kind of, goes to Tisha's cousin, Kiki, and, she's like, well, have you heard anything? Or, kind of asking her. Now, Kiki does kind of make a comment, and she's like, she doesn't come out and say that she has particularly heard anything out of Tisha's mouth in regards to it, because she kind of says that, I guess that from what she has, the conversations that her and Tisha have had, that Tisha is saying that Tisha hasn't seen any evidence of anything. Like, there's not, like, Tisha doesn't see, I guess, any validity to it or anything like that, is what the cousin Kiki is saying, I guess, from what Tisha is telling her about the cheating. But it does seem like the cousin is more inclined to believe that things are going on. She didn't share, she didn't really share a lot, which is good. In my opinion, I don't think she should have shared anything. Tisha is your cousin. You guys have private conversations. And I think you just should have stayed out of it, period, and just been like, yeah, I don't know. I think that should have just been a response and not to get into it at all. But I mean, the little that she did say wasn't, she still, I guess, in some ways was respectful about it and respecting Tisha's, I guess, privacy and conversations that she had with her. But I just wish that she just would have shut it down all the way and just been like, no, I don't know anything or whatever. Because number one, you are amongst people, mainly Mel and Melody, who Tisha and Melody are not in a good place. And Melody did not invite Tisha. And there's a lot of conversation. And so I just feel like you as a friend, a family member or whatever, as a loyal person, it's your responsibility to just kind of be like, well, you can ask her. I'm not going to talk about that or whatever the case might be. So just my opinion. And, Kimmy kind of was over the whole conversation as well because, Kimmy even made the comment like, well, if we're going to sit here and we was going to talk about Letitia all night, then, we should have invited her, which I was with Kimmy because I did feel like, the conversation was just too much about Tisha. I don't think that should have really been so much a topic for, discussion and even discussing on whether or not, they believe that Marceau had cheated or not. But I guess from Melody's standpoint, I think it was because when, she was going through the things of Martell, there were conversations that were being had. So I guess she feels like, hey, it's only right. You guys sat around and talked about what Martell was doing and you guys knew certain things about what was going on. So I guess she just feels like, it's an even playing field at this point, which, I mean, in some ways I can understand. I can understand that point of view or whatever. I just think things put Kimmy in a really tough spot, a lot of times. And going back to the picture, because even in this conversation with the picture, Stormy kind of came at Kimmy like, her and Melanie kind of came at Kimmy in a sense of, asking her like, well, do you believe that he wasn't doing anything? Talking about Maurice, which I don't know. It's kind of like, I mean, as girlfriends, I think in open forums and conversations and things like that, certain lines of questioning can be very insensitive. If you're a real friend and you talk one-on-one, that's one thing if you want to ask a question. But I think sometimes when we're in like, a group setting and you have multiple people asking you certain questions about a room or something that's going on, I don't know. I think sometimes it could be a little out of pocket, But Kimmy always handles herself well. Kimmy doesn't need any backup. Kimmy is a grown woman. She can handle herself and, she speaks her mind. So, I don't think she had any problems. I don't think she had any problems with it. Whereas you would have somebody like Letitia who, oh my God, it would have been a situation of her feeling like everybody was ganging up on her and, all this other stuff or whatever. Letitia's just so whiny to me. Like she's just, I don't know. She's just so whiny and she's just like a little girl to me. And then she's like so naive. I mean, I don't know. I can't, Letitia just kind of just rubs me the wrong way in some ways. Not that I don't like her. I mean, I do like her. I like her character, whatever. I like her on this show, but it's just it's things I don't like in regards to her just being so like juvenile in a sense with a lot of different things, and even some of the cattiness and just different things like that. But overall, I do like Letitia, as a person on the show and things like that. But there are some things about her personality that are a bit annoying. But anyway, so this wraps up my review and, sort of my rants on this past episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, toodles.